Alrighty, well, it should be a pretty productive night. So, standing in front of the transmission here, we got ourselves some new bearings and races, new fluid for the trans, some more bearings for it. So, got a whole kit to get this, or not this, to get this reassembled and hopefully not have play in our tail shaft anymore. And also had the really nice surprise of my clutch came early, and we got our first set of brake pads. So, unfortunately, they didn't send both in the same box for the brake pads, but should have our front set hopefully next week or maybe even tomorrow. We'll see what happens, but gonna start getting the transmission put back together tonight. But while we have daylight, I really want to swap this fender onto my car. So, we've got a kink down here, and I don't really want to blame it on Safelite because this fender was damaged, but the door opened no problem before they put the windshield in it. So I'm guessing whoever put the windshield in it might have been leaning on her a little bit, and she got pushed in, and now every time I open the passenger door, it keeps catching it, and very annoying. But luckily for me, I'm not going to raise, well, luckily for them, I'm not going to raise a stink about it, even though I probably should, because, well, oh well. It was already damaged, not much I can do. I luckily have another fender that is the same color as the car, so we're gonna get that guy thrown on here, and then we'll get to playing with the transmission. So let's swap out a fender. Alright, well, got the fender all finished up and had a little bit of a distraction, but time to jump into playing with this transmission. So we got to get a bearing race into the housing here, and then we got to get bearings off of our shafts. So let's jump right into it. We'll start getting everything in place, and, well, you know, hope for the best as usual and get this thing all back together tonight maybe. Well, I was about to start hammering the race out of this one here. This is our one off of that transmission. And I noticed that that piece in there where the transmission rides is pretty well chewed up compared to the one on my parts one here. I don't know if they look any different on video, but when you look at this one through the back side, in the upper corner there by my thumb, you can see where part of the material is getting pulled away. So I don't know, we're going to switch housings just to ensure that we have the best chance of this working possible. So yeah, gonna get to getting this housing here all situated with the new race and everything, so let's get to it. Got our tail housing all put together with the new bearing. Got our tail shaft all put together with its new bearings. Very nice. So time to clean up this tail housing on the transmission, do a test fit, see how everything fits, make sure the bearings aren't too tight, see if we might have to put in the, where is it? In there, the shim or the race that goes in there for our output shaft. There's a shim behind that race. So I kept the shim that was with this housing, so we'll find out if that was the right thing to do or not. So let's start reassembling and we'll go and find out quickly.
A few moments later.
Alrighty, well, we are all cleaned up now. Ready for first reassembly test. So, see what happens. Let's get everything back in here and bolt it down, and hopefully the output shaft is not too tight and we don't have to take that back apart. So alrighty, well, we officially got ourselves a 5-speed back together. I did have to play around with that shim. There was a 3/32, or a 3/1000ths, my bad, 3/1000ths difference in that shim, and it made all the difference. With the shim from this one's original housing, it was too thick and I couldn't spin it. Took the shim out of our other housing here and put it in there, and it made all the difference. Now spins nice and tight, no problem. So I'm really confident in this one. So excited to get this one in the car in the next couple days. We've got our clutch and some brakes that came in the mail, so we are moving right along and we are very close. So next week we will be playing transmission swap. Yeehaw!
The next day.
Well, it is time to start a transmission in the silver car. Got everything all ready to go on it. All the new bearings are in the one that we cleaned up and are gonna get ready to put in the car. So we're all ready to go, but we don't have a car. So we're gonna take a little fun field trip. I brought my car over to my good buddy Joey's house. He's got himself a lift, so you know, we're gonna go take advantage of him having a lift. So we're gonna get the transmission thrown in the bed of the truck along with fluids and some other parts that we're bringing over there to do while we have the convenience. So we're gonna get over there, start busting ass on this transmission, and see if we can speed run her in one night. That would be ideal, but he's not gonna care if it goes into tomorrow. So let's get over there, start getting to work on it, and hope for the best in this one, and hope that this transmission is going to be a lot better. We know the clutch is at least going to be an improvement, so all we can do is hope that they're both the improvement. So let's get this thing chucked in the bed of the truck, get our butt over there. We have arrived, and Joey is preparing my spot. Are you preparing a spot just for me?
No.
Oh, what a nice guy.
Just doing some regular shop cleaning.
Well, we have made it into Joey's humble abode shop. This is his Malibu project that he was pushing out of the way ever so nicely to make room for me.
I'm not working on anything.
Joey's ever so nicely letting us use his wonderful lift. So hopefully it's going to make for some easy work of this transmission job.
It's a lot better than on your back.
The funny part is it's still going to take the same amount of time as on my back as it is on a lift.
The funny thing is when we built the turbo motor for Collins Miata here, we tried using the Chans jack and I was just, I
Yeah,
literally just picked it up.
yeah, that's a small.
It was so much easier than trying to deal with that.
I don't know. These transmissions aren't bad. I can lift them up, but I ain't trying to
Yeah.
go above my head with them by myself.
No, that was fresh Colin.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to Colin. But we're going to get right to it. So time to get the car pulled in here and start knocking this out. Alrighty, we're on the lift. Well, not on the lift, but we're in between the lift. Time to get her all set. Get this thing up and let's start knocking this out. So, time to make some quick progress, hopefully. Alright, well, making pretty good progress here. Drive shaft's out, everything up top is done. Ready to drain it now before we start undoing transmounts and stuff. So I figured I'd film how glittery this thing comes out because this thing's been making some good noises for a while. And I know I'm curious to see what this looks like. It's either going to be nice looking fluid or not nice looking fluid. So here we go. Considering that only has maybe 8,000 miles on it. It's not the best looking.
that's
The metal's not bad looking on the plug, surprisingly. That's pretty normal.
that still looks better than the diff in the Cadillac.
Yeah? That's funny.
Every oil change, I changed oil on it.
Oof. Damn. Definitely not ideal looking oil considering it's only 8,000 miles old. But what do you do about that? So we're going to get right back to it. Should have this thing out shortly at least. Alrighty, well, lots of progress has been made. Transmission is out, slowly lowering down. Time to push it out of the way now, at least. So, time to deal with reason number A of why we're here. This freaking clutch. So, I'm gonna get this thing yanked off of here and let's do an inspection on the bench. So, here we go. Clutch is on the bench, and well, I have no reason to explain why this clutch felt so bad. Other than the fact that it's a used 6-puck that I put in here. So maybe we have other issues with like a slave cylinder possibly, or a master. I don't know. Either way, this thing's getting a new clutch because we want it anyway. So time to start bolting together new parts. Do a quick scuff on the flywheel here and we'll call her good. But I mean, this flywheel doesn't have a lot of miles on it, so I'm not too concerned about it. She feels pretty good, nice and smooth, no signs of heat marks or any cracking to it. So we're gonna send it, get the new clutch on here shortly. So we got ourselves the new transmission on the stand. Old one's down there in disgrace. But nonetheless, time to start playing around. I got my flywheel all cleaned up. So we're all ready to go there. Time to bolt the new clutch on. And get a transmission chucked back in this thing, so yeehaw.
Driving it home tonight, right?
Yeah, probably not. You're stuck with it. No, I kind of think I'm going to grab a couple different axles to try in the car. These are aftermarket axles, and this one I thought the diff was binding, which I'm not saying it isn't, but it doesn't have the slop that I expected it to have, so I think one of the axles might be binding up. So I'm going to grab 2 OEM axles from my house to put back in here tomorrow. So you're stuck with it.
Loud noises.
How dare you do body work to that pristine Dodge.
This is how you put taillights in. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that sounds accurate. It's a fucking Dodge. You can't, nothing lines up right.
This is better alignment than Chrysler
did. So far, yeah.
I mean, it's only taken me an hour to do that one, and it's still better than it was. And I'm on, what, 45 minutes on this side?
You're fine. But I'm going to start on the clutch. I don't know if I ever showed off the clutch. Got ourselves a nice competition stage 3. Pressure plate there. Got our disc over here. So hopefully that's going to be really nice. Out of 3 transmissions in this car, that is actually the first brand new clutch I've ever put in it. So hoping for great results out of this one. We'll see what happens though. Well, I've made very good progress under here. Everything minus axles on the other side is all together. we are all good to go on that aspect. Time to lower it down, take care of a few things up top, and then I think we're just going to call it a night. We'll come back tomorrow.
You're coming back tomorrow?
Yeah, you got to deal with me for 2 days in a row. Technically 3.
3?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Wednesday night. But we'll be back tomorrow, so get this thing all wrapped up, so we'll see you tomorrow. Alrighty, well, finally made it back to Joey's. I'm about 2 hours later than I wanted to be tonight, so it's gonna turn into a late night because I want to have this done tonight, so it is what it is. We got a lot of work to do. I got myself 2 OEM axles I grabbed out of my stash, so we're gonna put those in the car compared to the aftermarket ones that were in it, and we're gonna go from there. So start cooking along on it, get the front end back together, get the exhaust back on, and then I got brakes to do on it. So yeehaw, we're just doing pads and rotors because I got some track pads for it, so get something more aggressive on there to help it stop. So yeah, let's get to it though. I've burned a lot of daylight today and we got a lot longer to go, so yeehaw.
2 hours later.
Well, the car is a lot lower from when I got here. And I didn't film anything because my phone was completely dead, so I had to charge it for a while, but the whole underside we got wrapped up. The exhaust is on, the axles are in, the front knuckles and all that are bolted together loosely. But for about the last 30 minutes, I have been struggling trying to bolt on my slave cylinder for the clutch. And they're usually stiff, but you can normally compress them a little bit and get them bolted into place. So I've been fighting and fighting and fighting and absolutely fighting this thing, and I can't get it to go on. And took it back off, and just by easing my body weight into it, I should be able to compress it. But this thing doesn't move an inch. So I'm kind of suspecting that this has been my problem with my clutch probably the whole time. And it gets stuck in and out because something in there is seizing and it has enough hydraulic pressure to overcome it. But trying to push it in by hand, I physically cannot. So I am unfortunately going to have to run home now and go through my pile of parts. But that'll at least give me a chance to grab an angle gauge so I can set my front camber. And yeah, so one more setback, but we'll be right back. So let's get a new slave cylinder. Well, been having slave cylinder debacle for the last fucking basically hour and a half, if not 2 hours now, between even running home to go grab this one. But no matter how much I try and bleed it, this one is just stuck in. I can't get it to actually do anything, so that's just wonderful. It's not pushing or pulling any fluid, no matter how much I try and do this, between taking it off and compressing it to try and make it push and pull and using the pedal. So looks like I'm going to go spend money that I do not currently have and find another slave cylinder for tomorrow, hopefully, if we're lucky enough. So yay.